Hello, you beautiful people. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest. Her name is Jammie, and she is a stylist to high-level women, and she has worked in Hollywood. We're going to dive a little bit into her story and how she's gotten here. She's an amazing entrepreneur herself. And so thank you, Jammie, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this conversation.
Yeah. So let's just dive in right into your story, because I know when we had started to work together, I didn't even know your entire background. You just came highly recommended to me from a friend. Let's talk a little bit about your story and how you got started in styling.
When I was 30 years old, I was coming off the heels of a divorce and wanted to just start over in life. And I wanted to live out my style dreams. And so I moved to Hollywood. I packed up my bags, moved to Los Angeles, enrolled, spent my entire savings on a school in Hollywood, started working on editorial, red carpet, music videos, you name it. And I quickly realized that this is a really great experience. It took a lot of grit, long hours, a lot of really bad attitudes, and a lot of schlepping. And it was hard work and it taught me a lot, but it was not for me. I was the person that was executing a call sheet, right? Like, you got to do this, 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 and this. And the reward came in the form of the celebrity making more money. I wasn't helping their personal image. And that's where reward comes in for me. So I knew after about a year and a half, 2 years of that, I was like, oh, let's go to Nashville and style country music stars because they're more down to earth and fun. I quickly found out that they're like way more diva because it's like Hollywood wannabe because you're not quite Hollywood.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was the end of that. And I decided, okay, I need like the everyday woman, the everyday man. Like, let's work with real people.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you said you had chose a profession that you were super passionate about and that you cared about. You were just not delivering results in the way that you wanted to, or a way that was bringing you the most joy. Because I think sometimes people are like, oh, I chose the wrong profession. Like, I have to leave this profession. It's not lighting me up. It's not exciting. It feels draining. And it's like, well, you just might not have found your groove, or you're not in alignment yet with what you're really supposed to be doing.
100%. And that's part of the journey. And I think it builds you, it builds your character. Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? Because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And being a stylist is not actually, there's like 0.5% glam involved.
Yeah, totally. That's like anything, even consulting, people are like, cool, you work from your computer or you're on Zooms with people you like all day. And I'm like, you do not see 99% of the stress, the back end, the admin, the funnels. Like, we just had an issue this morning with a funnel that wasn't working properly. Like, I didn't get into consulting for funnels. I don't know how to do that. I got into consulting similar to you for styling, which was to help people and make a bigger impact, And so after you kind of realized Hollywood wasn't for you, obviously, I know you live in Virginia now. Is that where you moved next?
I did. I met a guy from Virginia and ended up here, married, pregnant right after getting married. And so I pivoted in that time period while I was pregnant and dating to, working with actually a lot of males at that point who were just starting their careers. And I ended up working with a lot of men and women in the medical profession, and they wanted to really differentiate themselves from their assistants. A lot of them found that their assistants were looking better than they were. And so I helped them to establish like their authority and that they were the boss, not the assistant. Sometimes there was one gentleman who was with his assistant who got mistaken for the boss, and he got mistaken for the assistant.
Oh, wow.
And so that was really fun to be able to use style to make an impact in their entrepreneurial journey. But then when I became pregnant and I was living in Virginia, and I wanted to change what I did every day, not going into people's homes. And I quickly found that getting dressed postpartum was maybe the hardest journey of my life.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very I had an identity crisis. Like, I am a stylist. I'm supposed to be able to do this, and this is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what all this squish is. Like, what are high rise pants? I pivoted to helping moms get dressed because I quickly realized if I was having a hard time, most moms were not even trying.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, your body is so different postpartum. Like everything is bigger. Everything,
Everything.
regardless of how easy pregnancy was, like everything just changes postpartum. And yeah, it's much easier to just live in yoga pants all day, which, hey, the fourth trimester, definitely do
Do
your
it.
recovery, be as comfortable as possible. You got a baby laying on you 24/7. But there is that aspect of once you become a mom, it's like, okay, I need to find myself again. And so it sounds like you found style and clothing and getting dressed the key to that.
I connected the dots. I was like, okay, if I use style to help these people bring in a new image, a new identity to themselves and make themselves feel like the person, the boss that they really were, I could do that in motherhood too. Let me use that same method on myself. And I took myself through a series of style questions I asked myself, and going shopping and doing the whole thing and challenging myself to show up in pants that actually button every day. I was like, oh, this is a method that can be rinsed and repeated no matter what you're doing, no matter what season of life, no matter if you're male or female or mom or not. We all need to kind of reevaluate as life transitions what story we're telling ourselves and the world with our style, because people see our clothing and how we look before they get to know us.
Totally. And one thing for me, as you know, I love dresses. That's kind of like my signature. I was just at a conference in London at the beginning of summer, and one of the girls came up to me and was like, I just love seeing you every day because I know you're going to have a new cute dress on and I can't wait to see what it is. And I was like, that is the nicest compliment. Thank you. Like, that is so sweet. And it's funny because that didn't, like, I've always loved dresses, probably like the last 5 or 6 years, but it's funny how now that has become my signature theme, which I would never thought about that before. Like, people associate you with how you dress, of course, but also they start to shape who they believe you are based on what you're wearing.
They really do. You create a signature style and they make up their mind about who you are based on what you're dressed like. And if you were showing up in those fun dresses, she automatically connected you with fun. Like, she already knew, obviously, that you were the expert in whatever you're speaking about, but you were also fun. And I think
Yeah,
that really says a lot about who you really are, because you
for
are fun.
sure. Thank you. I try to be. A couple things I want to talk about. So one is, I know when I came to you to be styled for a shoot, I was like, listen, I have always taken photo shoots. Like, obviously, everybody knows one of my core values is my family. And so I'm super passionate about my family. We take tons of family photos. I love a good photo shoot. Um, my husband is annoyed with how many photo shoots I think we need on an annual basis. But when I came to you, I was like, listen, I really haven't embodied my true personality. The way I show up online is not authentic to the way I show up in person. In person, I am bold. I say what's on my mind. Like, you don't have to question where I stand. And online, the photos that I've typically taken, because one, most of them are family photos, I haven't really had a brand shoot where it encompass like who I am, but also I'm really showing up as the girl next door. So yeah, I'm in a dress, but I'm like that sweet go lucky mom, and that's not really who I am. I definitely obviously am a dedicated mother, but I'm a dedicated mother who's also a badass. And so when I came to you, I was like, I need to incorporate more of that badassery so that it can come across as that way online. And so what is one thing or a couple of things when we started working together that you knew that we needed to tweak?
When I saw your photos, I had an assumption about who you were and how you would interact with me, because I saw these like floral wrap dresses and these like more whimsical silhouettes. And that is perfect for motherhood, because when I do see you interact with your son, I feel like that is who you are.
Yeah.
Like, but he also knows that you're a badass in this, in life in general. But in that portion, it makes sense for you to wear those beautiful, you crushed the family photo shoots. Oh my gosh, beautiful,
Thank
beautiful.
you.
But when I met you and we had our first chat online via Zoom and you were talking, I was like, oh, okay, we need to take girl next door to badass. And in my brain, I thought, okay, we need to take these soft, pretty patterns and these flowy silhouettes, and we need to add some edge, some structure, some like really harsh lines so that she can show up as Dr. Steph. Like, this is her. This is mom. This
Mhm.
is sweet girl. This is Dr. Steph. And how can we mix those two together? And I think that is what we did in using blazers that have really a lot of lines and structure, and you wore some of your amazing heels that embodied that edge that you have. That's what
Yeah.
you bring to your business, is a certain edge. And for people to be able to see that online before they actually talk to you, the style of shoes, the lines in your clothing, that conveys that message to your audience. And
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
love that.
how can we mix these and show it to someone that doesn't know you?
Yeah, totally. So when somebody comes to you, is that one of the first things that you're asking them, is like, what is it that you're trying to portray? Or granted, I know like other people come to you like, hey, I want to be styled for this trip or this work trip, or I'm trying to touch base with what my style is because I haven't figured it out yet. Like when I came to you, I was like, listen, I love dresses. Sure, I might wear pants for one of the outfits, but that's literally it. And you were like, okay, so what is kind of your process of being able, because I know for me, when I came to you, I had already had this vision in my head, right? We knew what we were going for. But what if somebody comes to you and they're like, I don't know, I don't really feel good in the clothes that I wear. I don't really know what it is I'm trying to accomplish, but I know that I don't feel good and like my clothes don't excite me and things like that.
I ask a series of questions that helps me to see what their body shape is, right? So that we can create the most flattering visual silhouette. On top of that, I ask them, like, what is your mission? What story are you trying to tell? What do you want to be perceived as? And before you can influence someone else, you have to believe it for yourself. You have to sell yourself before you can sell your product or your service. And so if you don't believe that you're a badass, which you 100% did, you came to me like, I want green suit, I want structure, I'm a badass, and that's what I want to tell. And some women don't know that. Some women don't know why they don't feel good in their clothing. And so I ask a series of questions that helps me to tell the story. And I have to ask them to trust me. It's like trusting the entrepreneurial journey, right? It is not like a straight ride to the top.
Totally.
It's up and down. It's uncomfortable. It's gritty. It's not glam. And when you try on clothing, a lot of times, like, I would never wear that. I'm not buying that. Well, you have to trust the process. It's not going to always work. It's a little give and take. It's a little black and white, but you have to try it to know. And it's
Totally.
like becoming a certain professional and not liking that aspect of it, but pivoting to another part of it. Same thing with style. Like, you might not like straight leg jeans, but maybe like skinny or whatever it is. You have to trust that I have a vision, and you have to be willing to get uncomfortable so that you can get ready to be seen. A lot of women hide behind their style.
Well, they're scared of being seen. They don't actually want more attention. And that, I mean, I could dive for hours into the self-worth behind that, right? Which is one of the things I work with clients too. It's like, hey, your business isn't at $500,000, $1 million, but it's solely a self-worth issue. It has nothing to do with all this other stuff. You don't need a new marketing firm. You don't need a new this or that. You don't need this next big idea. You need to actually believe that you're worthy of the success that you desire. And the same thing with style. Like, if they're hiding behind a black shirt, black pants every single day, which, don't get me wrong, black is one of my favorite colors, but if they're hiding behind that and they don't, yeah, exactly, yours too, they don't want to be seen, like, there's more to that.
There's so much more behind it. It's so much of what I do has, like, 10% to do with clothing and 90% to do with how you're feeling. It's your mindset you're going into it. So many women will settle for, like, well, I'm just going to get dressed. Like, nobody's going to see me. It's not that big of a deal. I'm going to wear an outfit for a photo shoot and return it and go back to my joggers and t-shirt, right? But what are you selling yourself? Because our brains are talking to ourselves before they're talking to other people. When you look at yourself and you're in athleisure every day, you are not telling your brain that you are a professional, an expert, you're a boss, you're a badass, you know what you're doing. It's being like, oh, it's chill time.
Yeah.
It's time to sit back. I just need another strategy. I need a better funnel. I need a better coach. No, you need to believe in yourself first. And style is one of the easiest tools to get you there. It's not the only tool, but it is the first thing that you see when you look in the mirror. Your clothing, yourself, how you are presenting yourself. Do you believe that you're a gift, like a present to give to the world? Or do you believe that you need to hide? And that shows in what you're wearing.
Totally. So I love this because I recently I had a call with a client and we were talking about the same thing. I was like, girl, you need to go through your closet and you need to eliminate all the clothes. One, the clothes that no longer fit, that maybe aren't even your style. There's probably half of your closet looks like that. And the other half needs to go through and be like, this actually isn't the 2.0 or 3.0 version of myself, you know? And I talk a lot about like stepping into that next level and embodying this level. And so like my floral wrap dress that I love, it has a time and a place, but it's not when I'm showing Wealthy Mama to the world or Stephanie Wigner 3.0 to the world. That's not the place. Like a much bolder outfit is what I want for that occasion. And so with her, I was like, you fully can't embody that next level of yourself until you convince yourself that you are the badass and you have to dress like one. And that's one thing too. It's like, it's not only just your clothes, but it's like, what jewelry do you have on? How are your nails? How is your hair? How is your makeup? And like, if your vibe is no makeup and that's the level that you're embodying, that's amazing. I'm not saying you have to wear makeup, but it's like, you have to have a vision and start showing up like that to the outer world, because it's going to help you convince yourself as well that like, yes, I am this next version of myself.
Yeah, you have to commit yourself first. I think one thing that makes it hard is there's a culture now that's like, you can make passive income in your sleep. You can work in your sweatpants. You don't have to work that hard. Whatever you look like is fine. You don't need the discipline to like wake up early and do all the things. Like it's okay. But the people telling you that are probably living a very disciplined life. They're showing up in the outfits that make them feel good. They're presenting themselves to the people. They're getting in the rooms and they're
Mm-hmm.
telling you you don't have to.
Well, they're telling you that from a stage that paid them thousands of dollars, and they're dressed in like an Armani suit from the stage telling you that, and you're like, you're probably
Yeah.
not living congruently with that message, right? And I mean, we could have a whole episode about like what it actually takes to become successful, and everything you mentioned is not it. I think that making money can be easy, but it doesn't become easy until you've figured out your flow and your alignment with the way that you're meant to attract money into your life. But what would you say? It kind of sounds like we've already talked about it too, but like, how would you say style can impact your business?
It impacts the way you show up. And I think that you have to show yourself that you value yourself so that you can show the world you value yourself, so they will believe that you will value them. Because if you're asking people to hand over their money, how are you going to get them to trust that you're the person to give money to if you don't respect yourself? And if you're not in alignment with the business, your style can kind of ruin it for you. You can walk into a room and do an interview or have a discovery call or whatever it might be with a prospective client. And if what you're wearing is like, let's say you're wearing like this bold, bright red dress and some red lipstick and some high heels, but you're trying to sell them on like this yoga Zen retreat, it doesn't match.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
incongruent.
yeah, they're like, oh, I don't know if I believe you because you're not in alignment with what you're selling, with what you're saying that you do. And style is just like the quickest way to make an impact on other people and yourself.
And I think too, we were talking about like you can't just live in yoga pants every day, which I know we both wear yoga pants often. So we're not saying yoga pants are bad, but exactly to what you said, if you're selling this insane spiritual healing retreat and your vibe is like no makeup, at one with the universe, yoga pants, whatever it is, you're encompassing, you're embodying that vibe. That's authentically who you are. That's still going to come across way more powerful than trying to be somebody you're not, or
Yes.
showing up in a way that's not congruent with what it is you're selling. So I think that that's a really good point that is important.
It's not necessarily the actual pieces of clothing you're wearing, it's how it aligns and it's how you feel and what you're embodying. There are studies that show if you dress for the job that you want, if you show up ready to go, like put on the lipstick, put on the earrings, wash your hair more than once a week if you need to, whatever it takes, it's not just the clothing. If you do that and if you show up, you are going to make 20% more minimum.
Yeah, I believe that 100%. And it's just like manifesting what it is you truly want. You know, if you're not leaving your house and presenting to the world, like, hey, I'm manifesting this $1 million practice or the love of my life or
Yes.
a new opportunity, right? Like, you can't be searching for love and not showing your best self to the world to find the love of your life.
No, it goes hand in hand. Like I think that business, entrepreneurship, that your love life, it all goes style, it all goes hand in hand. The biggest lesson I learned in dating before I got married, because I've been married twice now, and it's day and night. The second time I realized I have to become the person that the person I'm looking for is looking for. And
Absolutely.
that has to do with business too. You have to become the leader in whatever industry or the service provider, whatever it is that your potential client is looking for. And until you
Absolutely.
align, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a good point. I want to switch gears a little bit because one of my favorite reels that you ever did was on denim and like how to find denim for your body type and what they would need to look for. And I think every single female is always like, I don't have jeans that I love. I don't have jeans that I love. And I remember after watching that reel that you did, I had just bought a pair of, oh my gosh, Paige jeans, and they were like loose enough. But after I watched your reel, I'm like, oh my God, they're too loose. Like they're going to stretch out. I'm not going to like them. They're going to become a pair of jeans that I'm not going to end up wearing. Cause you had said in the reel, like they actually should be kind of tight when you put them on. So just kind of break down your thought process around denim, because I think every listener probably wants a pair of jeans they love.
Yes, every woman deserves a pair of jeans that are comfortable and makes their butt look great.
Yeah.
So I think we make the mistake that we go try them on, or we order them and try them on and they feel too tight. So we think we need the next size up, but you have to wear them for 3 hours. Wear them around the house. Don't eat spaghetti or pizza or whatever and spill anything on them, but wear them for 3 hours and make sure they're comfortable, and never discount a tailor. If they're too long or they fit you great in the thighs, but they're too big in the waist, take them to a tailor and the tailor will work magic and it will make your jeans feel like they fit you. Buy your jeans for the biggest part of your body that you're dressing. So for me, it's my thighs, right? But my waist is smaller. So 99% of the time, jeans aren't made for me. They're not thinking, oh, I'm making these for Jammie Baker's body. So I have to take them in and at the waist to the tailor and they fit like a glove. So I think that also think about the waist where it's hitting. If you have a really short torso, you don't need like an ultra high rise jean. If you have a really long torso, you need an ultra high rise jean so that it fits you where your waist bends. That natural waist is going to bring the eye to the smallest part of your body.
Yeah, that's such a good tip. And the other tip about the tailor, because that's one of the things that you were like, Steph, anybody online who has amazing fitting clothes takes it to a tailor. They didn't order it that way. And I was like,
Yeah.
really? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, that makes so much sense because every size is different with every company. And so you're like, oh my gosh, you're flustered because you're ordering and it's not fitting you the right way. But if it's a piece, especially like a statement blazer or a dress that you love, that you know you're going to wear all the time, it is so worth taking to the tailor.
It is. And then you look expensive because it fits you like a glove. So that's one of the ways, like you could get, say you go to like Nordstrom Rack and you get a dress on sale for a super great price and it's too big, take it to the tailor. Or it's too long. Maybe you like short dresses, but it hits like a midi dress. Take it to the tailor. It could be amazing above your knee and it
Yeah.
would cost like $10.
Yeah, totally doable. What is one of the things when you're, because I know you have a membership too, right? So tell me a little bit about that.
The membership provides curated style every season because women are busy. The modern woman that I serve, she has a lot going on. She wears a lot of hats. She is a mom. Most of them are entrepreneurs or they're climbing the corporate ladder. And so they don't have time to think about what to wear and what influencers to follow. I don't know about you, but I've been guilty of following an influencer, buying the outfit only to get it home and be so depressed because it looks nothing like that on me.
Totally.
So I take all of the trends and everything that's out there. I curate an elevated, basic, kind of a classic style for everyone and teach them how to tweak it. So I put together outfits for you every season. So it takes the guesswork out of it. It cuts the noise down because you have more important things to think about.
Totally.
Right?
Especially
Show up.
somebody like me who's busy managing a million things, has a child, like I do love me some online shopping, obviously. So sometimes that's like my guilty pleasure, scrolling at night looking for new things to buy. But I think the majority of my outfits, like I don't have time to think and put together. And one of the things that I loved about our work is being like, hey, you were like, what do you have in your closet that could work with what we're already working with? It's not always about getting something new. It's about making what you have work for you and just pairing it with something different. So if you had to tell a woman like the top 3 classic basic items that she should have in her closet, maybe one that she should always have, but 2, like a basic white tee now looks very different than a basic white tee from 10 years ago. So what are some of the things that you think she should have to just kind of have that elevated look that I guess is the basics?
The basics, if you have basics, which are not sexy, I know it's not the fun thing you're shopping for. It's not the Farm Rio dress, right? It's like a white t-shirt, great, a pair of jeans, whatever. That's really hard. I want to challenge every woman to find the perfect pair of jeans, a shirt that makes you feel really good. So it might be a basic white tee that isn't see-through at all, that's crew neck. It might be a V-neck gray tee. It might be a detailed sleeve black tee like I have on. I want you to find one shirt and one pair of pants and one pair of shoes that makes you feel great. Because once you have the one outfit, you're going to reap the rewards of getting dressed and actually being ready, not just putting on joggers and a t-shirt and a pair of sneakers, but actually embodying like, oh, this is me. And then you add the next layer, which is styling it, like a pair of earrings that make you feel fabulous, a swipe of lipstick that makes you feel bold. So if you have those basics, you can swap out a different shirt with those pair of jeans, a different shoes with those pair of jeans, and you can swap out each piece because it's a basic, and basics make outfits.
Yeah, I think that for me, I still need to find that one shirt that I love. I have like the jeans, I have the shoes, but like one shirt I don't have. So that needs
Have
to be
you
what I focus on.
you tried the frame mid-rise tee?
No.
Okay, that's if I had to say my favorite t-shirt right now, it's frame. The V-neck on it is incredible. Like it's your line for sure.
Mhm.
It's a pretty deep V. The arms, the cut of the arm is at an angle, so it's super flattering and it's not too long. So you can kind of just do a little tuck or not in your jeans and it's not creating any bunching. It's so flattering.
Oh, I'm gonna go buy that as soon as
Yeah,
we get off this podcast.
it's amazing.
um, what is kind of like wrapping up here? What has been your journey with entrepreneurship? Like where you started and where you're at, and kind of what are the goals that you currently have?
I have a goal to get at least 1,000 women in my membership so that I can show them the power of style. And for me, I have used style as a tool to get to my next level. And I really found that like, oh, style was fun when I was a girl, right? I've always loved it. Fashion was fun. But I realized it was powerful when I went from a retail associate at Nordstrom to I was working in property management with John Nordstrom. I flew to lunch with him and I was like, oh, last week I worked for you. Sorry. This week I'm at lunch with you. I flew here with Harrison Ford in a helicopter because you guys are friends. And what got me from point A to point B was a new wardrobe because I believed in myself. So every time that I know I need to make a transition, so I want to go after more women and teach them the power of style, I'm stepping into my next level. So I'm currently curating a different wardrobe for myself that's going to help me get from point A to point B and actually demonstrate the belief that I want other women to have.
I love that. Yeah. It comes back to what we said about so often we look at style maybe through a frugal lens, like, oh, I have all these clothes. I need to wear these clothes. But are your clothes working for you? Are your clothes bringing you more abundance, more opportunities, more partnerships? And if they're not, then it's just like any investment in yourself. You need to make that investment in order to attract the things you really desire.
You do. And you know what? You spent the money. Stop feeling guilty. It's there. Whether you wear it or not, it's done. You have to move on. And as women, when our life transitions, whether it's weight or children or job or relationship status, I would say 99% of women, their closet is the last thing to transition with them, which is wild because we get dressed every morning. You have to
Mhm.
put on clothes, but how intentional are you being about that? A lot of times my clients have nothing to wear because the clothes in their closet are not reflecting the woman they're becoming. It's where they've been, not where they're going and what they're doing in their day-to-day life. So if you had your floral dresses to go speak on stage, not your like badass Farm Rio ones, but like your sweet Steph
Mhm.
dresses to go speak on stage in London, you're going to feel like I have nothing to wear. You have dresses, they probably fit your body, but they don't fit what you're doing today. And so if you're not constantly editing your closet, like you edit your friends, like you edit the clients you're taking in, like you edit the systems you have in your work, you're not doing it right. You
Hmm.
have to stay on top of that. And if you do the work, if you front load it, you can just get dressed all season and it just becomes a part of who you are.
And I also think, even as you say that, it becomes more effortless, which I'm all about saving time and being efficient and automating things. So it's like if you automated your wardrobe, and I can go to my closet and pick out like a number of dresses that I would throw on for this episode, going out to dinner, whatever. I have plenty to choose from because they're aligned with who I am right now. But it becomes easier. I'm not wasting time trying to figure out what is it that I'm going to wear. Oh my gosh, I want to look cute for date night, or I got invited to this event, or I have to speak at this virtual summit. What am I going to wear? Like, it's like, no, I know I have plenty of stuff in there because I've already done the work. And so
Yep.
when we talk about even business, like that's a way to automate your business that they haven't even probably considered.
Yeah, it's definitely a part of your business. It has to be. You need to use your brain power for things that really matter, not like, oh, my pants are sagging down or my button keeps gaping open. Use your brain space for your work and your people and loving on your family, serving your clients, not for what pants you need to wear today.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I like to ask all my guests. So I know that you are a mom, an entrepreneur, a wife, and so you have your own goals that you're working towards. But if you had to say one thing, what would you say that wealthy means to you?
I think wealthy means to me having enough resources to live out the life that I have wanted to live, to build that life and actually live it out, and then leave those resources and that legacy for my children and their children.
I love that. I would say that that's very similar to mine as well. So thank you so much for joining us. I know our listeners are going to find this super valuable. So I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. See you next time, guys.